Hey there, fam. How's it going? Ultimate episode of the midweek motivation. How y'all doing? How's the week going for you guys? Going good? Yeah, we're already November. This is wild to me. I feel like the year just started. Well, kinda, because I feel like it was just August, and now we're just already into we went through like the first parts, for beginning of school. And now we're about to be into Thanksgiving. Then you got Christmas, and before you know it, brand new year 2025. It's wild, yeah. But today's talk, right? Today's a little more of it's just more of a conversation that we're gonna have, yeah. And it is interesting how this came up because I was at church, right? And they're playing this song, and it's a great song. It actually is in English too, by Elevation Worship. And in Spanish is like, it talks about, eres un amigo fiel, which is like you're a faithful friend. And the song itself, I'll put the link down here below, but it's interesting to me because when I think about how faithful God is with us, right? And then how many times do we start questioning that, right? How many times do we start thinking, you know what, but Lord, like I messed up here, I messed up there. And God doesn't look at that, right? I've said it before multiple times on this podcast. He doesn't see the sin, he sees the son, yeah? But that does not stop us from getting in our own way, yeah? From going and just like, oh Lord, but you know what? I messed up here, I messed up there. How you gonna forgive me? I lied here, I cheated there. I did all these bad things. And the thing is, Jesus died for all those things, right? When God sent his son down here, he didn't die for certain things or really bad ones. No, he died for all of them. So when we started saying, like, Lord, but like, how can you still love me through all this? Well, it talks about how he's like a faithful friend. And like there's parts in the scripture where it says, closer than a brother. When you find someone, that person that really likes to build you up, that friend that might, they might be family, not through blood, but through time, through events. I've always said that, military, law enforcement, fire, all that, when you go through like a training camp, you build and you forge these bonds that you might have not known this person 4 or 5 months ago, a few weeks ago, but now you're putting your life in their hands. Well, that's how God's with us. The moment we go and say, you know what, Christ, we want you to come into our hearts, we are essentially giving our lives and putting it into his hands, which is the best hands to put it in. And then it kind of like led me down the line where, one of my friends, she sings there, in the choir, on the worship team. And she talked about how when sometimes we're so tired that we can't even raise our hands up, right? And the putting your hands up is the ultimate sign of just, hey, I give up, I'm surrendering, right? And how when they're in the wilderness, that they had to hold Abraham's arms up to make that thing to go through. Sorry, Moses' arms up to go through, and he fought the Philistines, and they still won. And how sometimes the biggest and strongest act that we can make is just putting our hands up. Is being, Lord, I give up. I can't go any further without you doing this, without you helping me out. Yeah. And that really spoke to me because I don't know, like after having a couple conversations, with some friends of mine, already thinking about 2025 and what we do next and blocking out like on the business side of things or, personal goals, how, some people might start feeling, right? Man, like what have I done this year? And the question is, even if you haven't done anything, let's say substantial, you still have time left, right? It's either, and I've said it before, it's either one day or day one. Why not make today day one? This night, wherever you're watching this, whether it's daytime, nighttime, why don't you just take that next step? And then it was also ironic to put his other point into it. I was with my dad the other day, we were hanging out, and he had the radio on, and there's a quote, right? It was quick, it was in passing, where it says, we fight from a place of victory, not for victory, right? I might have like bossed up a little bit, but in essence is saying we're not fighting for, to win. We're not fighting like, oh man, I need to get to that point. No, you've already won. Yeah, like you're fighting from a place of a victory. You're not fighting for victory, right? We know the end game. We don't know the end goal. We know the end of the story. If you go, you flip to the end of the book, we won. It's like watching your favorite movie and you already know the ending. So as bad as it might be, for that character, for that person that's going through these struggles, these highs and lows, he's like, how are they going to pull this off? You already know the end of the story. So what's the interesting part is the journey. It's like, man, they surpassed this, they surpassed that. There's so many things that happen on the way that in their struggle, they found strength. That might be something that maybe you're going through right now. You feel like, man, like Rodz, I'm going through this desert. I'm going through these things. And I feel like I'm just struggling. I'm struggling to keep my mental health going well. I'm struggling, to keep my family together, to keep my, finances together. I'm just struggling. But if you allow God, like I said in the beginning of this, to be that faithful friend, when you put it into his hands, he then gives you strength in that struggle. Yeah, and I'm going to expand on that later in the week. But it is interesting how when we look at it with that point of view, of one, we've already had the victory. So we're not fighting for victory, we're fighting from a place of victory, right? And then when we find strength in the struggle, right, it's like when you're working out. In the struggle, in the part where, you're lifting up that heavy weight, where you kind of like got a little bit left, and you kind of knock it through, what does that happen next time? In your in your brain, mentally, you're already like, oh, I already put the weight up, right? I already got through this. Oh, wow, I'm going through something hard. Well, I already went through a divorce, and then God was with me then. I went through a sickness. God was with me then. I got through that. God was with me, when I lost a family member, when I lost my job, when I lost whatever. God was with me in these circumstances then. What makes me think that he won't be with me now, right? And there's some verses I want to give really quick. That was quite, it's quite interesting how they put it. And one of them is in Proverbs 21:31, and it says, the horse is made ready for the day of battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. What does that mean? That you can prepare all you want. You get the horse for battle, you can get the chariots ready, you can set everything up, you can have all these plans, right? But at the end of the day, it's God that gives you the victory. So whether you have it all prepped out or God just calls you to go somewhere, in a moment, it's a spontaneous movement, whichever one it is, because I know, we have my planners that want to have everything good to go, and okay, I'm going to do A, B, and C. I have, if that doesn't work, I have option D over here. That doesn't work out. You have all these options, right? And that's very important, but you can do all of that. But at the end of the day, God gives you the victory. All that doesn't matter. Or God could be like, hey, I need you to wake up tomorrow. I need you to go over here. I need you to invest here, and that's it. You didn't plan it out. But when you allow God to guide you, you're like, all right, Lord, I either planned it out for 5 months or we're going to plan it out in 5 minutes. Either way, I'm going to get the victory, right? And that is what I want to leave with you guys today. That's one of the motivation I want to leave with you guys, that as long as you have God guiding you through all this, you've got the victory. You're not fighting for victory. You're fighting from a place of victory. Yeah, you find the strength in the struggle. You find, the test in the test. You find the testimony in the test. There's so many, I know they're kind of like, cheesy analogies, but it's true. When we look at it from that point of view, from that perspective, we start realizing, hold on, God's already got this figured out. All I have to do is obey. All I have to do is trust him. Yeah, the Bible says faith of a mustard seed. Do you know how small that is? So you have that little faith, you can move mountains. So that's why I want to challenge you guys for this week, for the month of November. I want you to just really dial it in. When you get to the December part, I have some things really planned out for that. But if you took anything out of this conversation we had right now, from the strength in the struggle, find the peace in the problem. Ooh, that's a good one right there. Find the peace in the problem. Find the testimony in the test, and I guarantee you, whatever happens, you're gonna fight from a place of victory. You're not just fighting for victory. Yeah, I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these talks. I'll see you next week. Stay safe, and as always, make it the best day ever.